The first season of Hazbin Hotel has officially dropped. Well, technically not all of it. The first 4 episodes have. They're doing a weird release schedule where they drop the first 4 episodes and then next week they drop the next 2 and the next week they drop the final 2. It's really weird. I don't get what they're really doing here. So I thought it'd be fun to do an ultimate Hazbin Hotel review where I reviewed the pilot, the Addict music video, as well as all the episodes on the actual TV show. I wanted this to be one big video, but due to the fact that the weird release schedule they're doing, I decided to split it up into 2 videos. One where I talk about the pilot, Addict, and the first 4 episodes, and then another video about the last 4 episodes. Then after that, I'll do one big Snyder cut in case you don't want to watch the 2 separate parts. I'm not just going to be combining the 2 videos together. I actually will be adding more stuff to the video just to make it different from this. But anyway, I just keep rambling on and on and on. If you don't know what Hazbin Hotel is, Hazbin Hotel originally started as an indie animated project by vivziepop. The pilot released back in 2019 and it went really viral and it got picked up by A24 and Amazon Prime, and now we actually have the TV show. But is the pilot actually as good as you might remember? Is the Addict music video as good as you might remember? Is the show as good as the pilot, or is it worse than the pilot? We're gonna figure that out today in the ultimate Hazbin Hotel review part 1.
Lights, camera, action.
Now, I want to make it very clear right now, I am not a good reviewer. You know, I'm fine talking about goofy stuff on the internet. Like, you know, I could talk about Five Nights at Freddy's all day. Will it be good? No. But I could talk about it all day. I'm going to read a comment I got from an unlisted video 3 years ago, which you could go check out, links in the description, even though I don't want you to watch it. I'm going to read it for you.
Legitimately the worst review I've ever seen. I can break down the whole review in one sentence. Yeah, the show is good.
So as you can see, I'm not a very Bless you. As you can see, I'm not a very talented reviewer when it comes to talking about stuff, but I'm gonna try my best here. Is it gonna be good? Probably not. Now, the pilot for the first half is split into 2 parts. The first part focuses on Angel Dust and his friend that I forgot the name of fighting the turf war with Sir Pentious. The other half where Charlie goes on the news to talk about the brand new Happy Hotel, which everyone makes fun of her for, and then she breaks out into song to try to convince everyone, and it didn't really work. But then it's revealed that Angel Dust,
The porn star?
You fucking would, Tom.
is the first guest of the Happy Hotel and is seeing some great progress until newsflash, turns out he's part of the turf war, and then somehow a huge fight starts. But then later on, when Charlie's all sad at the hotel, someone knocks at the door. And it's revealed to be Alaster, the radio demon, in which Alaster makes a deal with Charlie to help maintain the place because he just thinks this whole thing is funny. And also Sir Pentious attacks the hotel and it didn't really work according to plan, so that sucks for him, man. Now, before we continue, I have to say the fact that this even exists is already a huge accomplishment. If you don't know, it took them around 3 years to make the pilot. So the fact that this pilot even exists is already a huge accomplishment, and to have it be this successful is amazing. But I'm not a big fan of this pilot. I don't know what the issue is. Like, I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's good either. But I do have some positives. The whole premise of the show I think is really cool. Having the Princess of Hell try to rehabilitate sinners is already a pretty cool concept. That alone makes me want to watch the show. The characters are also pretty well written in my opinion. Personally, for me, the standout characters is Charlie and Alaster, and animation is really good. I would be totally fine if the entire series was animated like this. Like, this is so well done. I can tell you one thing I know for a fact, I'm like, yeah, I don't like this, and that is the music. And that's the issue I kind of have with all of vivziepop shows, you know, helluvaboss and Hazbin Hotel, at least the pilot for Hazbin Hotel, is that I just can't really vibe with the music. Like with helluvaboss, I don't think helluvaboss needed to be a musical. The only song I can remember from helluvaboss is 2 Minute Notice, and that's literally because half the lyrics are the word fuck. I don't think the show needed to be a musical because it just doesn't fit with the story they're trying to tell. Hazbin Hotel does work as a musical, like I think it perfectly fits. The only real song that I actually kind of like is Inside Every Demon is a Rainbow, but I only really like the first 30 to 45 seconds of it, then after that it just falls apart for me. But other than that, I don't really know why I don't like the episode. It's weird. It's weird. I don't get it. Trust me, if I understood why I didn't like the episode, I would be telling you, but I just don't know why I don't like the pilot. So I don't exactly know how to review a song or even a music video to a song, so I'm just going to say this. I think Addict's okay. I'm not really a big fan of it, but I don't think it's bad. So I think it's just not really for me. Personally, I actually like Poison more than Addict, which might be a super hot take, but that is my take, and I am proud of my take. But I do think it's weird that people are criticizing... My phone's going off. I find it weird that people are criticizing Poison but not Addict when both songs share the same exact purpose. They're just different lyrically and everything else, but they both share the same exact purpose. If you're going to criticize one thing, you need to criticize the entire thing. You can't criticize one part of something when there's another part of it as well. first episode begins with Charlie talking about the origins of hell and how the extermination came to be, which, by the way, I really love this opening. Her dad then calls and asks her to do the meeting with the angel exterminators instead of him. I think angel exterminators, or is it just angels? I don't know, I might have to rewatch the show. But her dad, who is Lucifer, by the way, asks her to do the meeting instead of him because he doesn't want to do it. And after that, the episode kind of splits into two parts. Charlie talking to Adam, and Vaggie and the rest of the gang make a commercial. Charlie tries to tell Adam her plan to rehabilitate sinners, and he is completely all against it. And as a matter of fact, he is actually moving the extermination from 1 year to 6 months. And the reason why is because one of the exterminators from the last extermination actually got killed by someone in hell, so they want revenge for their death, I think. And that's the end of episode 1. And I got some things to say. First off, I want to say the animation looks amazing. The biggest issue I have with more modern day adult animated shows is that everyone feels super stiff. It feels like as if they are forced to use animation as a way to tell their jokes instead of using animation as a way to tell their story. And I really like what they're doing with Hazbin Hotel, with everyone being so animated, and also all the characters got redesigns and new voices. And personally, I really like all the new voices except for one, which we'll get to later, and I really like all the redesigns as well. Also, the music is really good. Just in general, the music is really good, and is a huge improvement over the pilot. Even in the first episode, one of my favorite songs plays, which is A Happy Day in Hell, which I've been playing non-stop since it was first released. But personally, I feel like this episode's kind of all over the place. It's like as if they're trying to introduce the characters to a new audience while also continuing the story of the pilot, and I don't think they did a good job. The only character that I think they did a really good job reintroducing is Charlie. I really like the way they did that, but everyone else I feel like as if they did a better job introducing them in the pilot. For example, Alaster. In the show, he just kind of randomly appears in the beginning, while in the pilot, we actually have a proper introduction to the character. Same with Angel Dust, he just randomly appears, and then they mention the fact he's a porn star, while in the pilot, we actually see him do his profession. In Vaggie, I don't think there was any real proper introduction in either the pilot or the show, so I wish there was a proper introduction for Vaggie in the actual show. And they didn't even bother introducing Husk and the one-eyed woman that I forgot her name. They just kind of just throw him in there. No proper introduction. I also think the pilot does a better job showing the issues that Charlie has with her parents. In the pilot, we find out through her calling her mom, which goes straight to voicemail. They're hinting at some issues she has with her parents, but in the actual show, they just kind of reveal in the introduction that her mom's been missing for 7 years and that she's got issues with her dad. And I think they just did a terrible job showing that in the actual show. In the pilot, I think... Oh, hey, Winter. So personally, I feel like they did a better job introducing them in the pilot. And honestly, it probably would have been better if they actually just remade the pilot as the first episode, the Hazbin Hotel, and made this episode the second episode. But towards the end, they kind of didn't feel as all over the place. When she met Adam, which by the way, Adam, holy shit. Adam, so unbelievably annoying. The amount of times he said fuck is unbelievable. Like, you know the meme of like, oh, this show, if it was written by vivziepop and just everyone saying fuck every other second? That is literally Adam's character. It's so annoying. And the worst part is that his song is actually good. They do a good job showing who he is in the song, but the actual writing isn't good at all. And I think that sucks. So overall, I feel like the episode's all over the place, but it isn't a bad episode. Like, I really enjoyed it. Sir Penchance yet again tries to attack the hotel, and it didn't work. We think he introduced to the main antagonists of the show being the V's, which include Pyrocynical, Valentino, and Valvet. And then...
Oh fuck, okay. I didn't know I had that mod on!
They find out that Alastor has returned after 7 years of being gone, which causes Vox to make a warning towards him, but that backfired terribly. They then think and realize that they need someone from the inside of the hotel to give them intel, which somehow they land on Sir Penchance being the one to infiltrate the hotel. Sir Penchance gets welcomed in open arms by Charlie, and then it's revealed that Sir Penchance actually works for the V's? What? Angel Dust and Vaggie want to kill him, but Charlie forgives him, and he becomes a new resident of the hotel. Now, personally, I feel like this episode's still kind of all over the place trying to introduce the villains. They do a way better job here than in the first episode, and it's starting to feel like as if they're on the right track. The characters are really cool, except for the other two V's. I personally really like Vox, but I don't like Valentino or Velvet. I think they're super annoying. I was really surprised with the way they took Sir Penchance in this series. From the pilot, I assumed he was going to be the main antagonist throughout the show, but it turns out that he's just a loser, which I really like. But the music, holy shit. You're going to hear me praise the music throughout this entire video because the music is so unbelievably good. And just as a whole, this episode's pretty good. It's better than the first one, but it's still kind of got similar issues with the first one, but it's starting to get on the right track, which I'm really excited to see. Charlie tries to continue to help Sir Pentious, which makes Vaggie come to the decision that he needs to lose his egg minions with Alastor to get rid of them, which then causes the episode to split into 2 separate parts. But before Alastor can properly dispose of the eggs, he meets up with Zestial, who surprisingly is played by Jason Statham. Like, I was not expecting that at all. Which both of them get dragged into a meeting with the other overlords, which Velvet's there, which is like the most annoying V out of all 3 of them. But she suggests that they go to war with Heaven since there's proof that the exterminators can be killed, which is immediately shot down by Carmilla Carmine. But while all that's happening, Charlie puts Vaggie in charge of getting the group to trust each other, which doesn't really go to plan. Back to Alastor, we find out that Carmilla Carmine is the one who actually killed the exterminator, which definitely won't play a part in any future episodes. Vaggie apologized to Charlie about what happened earlier, but then it's revealed that her strategy did in fact work, and now the gang trusts each other, and Sir Pentious gets to keep his eggs. Yay. And it finally feels like the series is on the right track, because the first 2 episodes, they kind of fell all over the place with trying to introduce all these different characters while also trying to continue the story. But now, since they finally introduced all the main characters, we can finally get a nice clear story, and I think it works really well here. Like, I really like this episode, but there are some issues that I do have with it. First, you know how I said earlier that I actually really like the recast of all the different characters, but there's one recast I actually don't like, and that is the voice of the Egg Boys. How did you mess this up? The voice for the Egg Boys in the original pilot was so good, but here they're bad. They're really, really bad. But also Vaggie's story of her teaching the gang to trust each other, I think is kind of underbaked. Like, I don't think there's enough there to warrant her singing a song, but it still kind of works. I just feel like it should have had some more time in the oven. But as a whole, the episode's actually pretty good. While doing show and tell, Angel Dust has to go make an adult video for his boss, who is Valentino, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Charlie decides to go into Angel's place of work to try to get him more time off, which does not work, as her presence makes the entire situation worse. This also causes Valentino to force Angel to make Charlie leave. A little while later, Angel goes back to the hotel and gets into an argument with Husk, which causes Angel to leave. Vaggie makes Husk follow him to the bar and saves him from being drugged, which pisses Angel off. They both talk and sing one of the best songs in the show. Angel accepts Charlie's apology, and that's the end of the episode. And this is probably my favorite episode so far. It is really, really good. I like the fact that they focused on Angel Dust and Husk in this episode, because we don't really see that much of them in the show. So it's nice to see an episode that focuses on them. And the music is so good. Poison and Loser Baby are some of the best songs in the show, with Loser Baby being probably my favorite song of the show so far. It's so good. It definitely helps that Keith David, who played Dr. Nefarious in Princess and the Frog, is playing Husk, because his voice just fits so well with the character. Just the song is so good. I've been playing that song non-stop since the episode first dropped, because it's so good. The only real criticism I really have is that there definitely should have been a trigger warning for this episode. Because of the topics shown and discussed in the episode, it's just like, whoa, where did this come from? There was no real warning, but I do like that they took this topic very seriously and weren't making jokes when talking about these subjects. I just wish that there was a trigger warning, because even though they have like the little warning of 18 plus, I barely noticed that. Like, you need to actually add something there. But as a whole, this is probably my favorite episode so far, and if each episode improves on the last, this show is going to be really, really good.
Now, stay tuned. And what can you do, my effeminate fellow?
I can suck your dick.
Ha! No,